Hey everybody, this is Calligraphy DK. Today we're going to be looking at all the uppercase letters of the alphabet, and there really isn't too much you need. In fact, I'm going to be linking everything down below in the description so you can check them out if you're interested in the products I'm using for this video. Now, what you'll need is obviously paper, which is from Oxford, and the brush pen is from Tombow. It's the dual brush pen. You've probably seen one of these in quite a few videos already, as they are really popular amongst calligraphers. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need. Nothing too fancy in order to get started with writing down the letters. As you can see, I've already written down alphabet in all caps, and this is what you'll be able to do as well in just a few minutes once we've gone through all 26 letters, so keep on watching. So without any further ado, let's start by writing down the letter A. So the A you can pretty much write with 3 basic strokes. 1, 2, and 3. Again, 1, 2, and 3. And by the third time, you most likely already get the hang of it. Now let's look at the letter B. This also requires 3 steps, the first one being the same as the letter A. The rest of the 2 are exactly the same. It's basically a mirrored letter C, so 1, 2, and 3. Again, same stroke as the beginning of the letter A, and then the mirrored C's. This is pretty convenient as our next letter is, in fact, the letter C. Mirror the same stroke, repeat a couple of times, and that should be enough for you to build up that muscle memory. Now, the next letter is the letter D. This one's also easy, we already know the strokes, 1 and 2. Again, basic stroke, and then the mirrored C. The letter E is the first letter to require 4 steps, but they are all basic strokes we already learned, so this shouldn't be too big of a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's the letter E. The letter F is the same as the letter E without the 4th step, so 1, 2, and 3. And of course you can also play around with the placement to achieve a different look, but that's totally up to you. Now, the G starts with the letter C and then finishes with 2 basic strokes, technically 3 steps, but I like to do it in 2, so 1 and 2. Again, the letter C and the 2 basic strokes in 1 move. The letter H is quite similar to the letter A. The only difference is the angle between the first 2 strokes, so when writing down the H, you want to make sure the strokes are parallel to each other, so 1, 2, and 3. Again, 1, 2, and 3, and make sure the strokes are parallel to each other. I think the I we can pretty much skip, it's just a basic stroke, so it shouldn't be too difficult to write. But the letter J, on the other hand, might take a while to get used to. So there are 2 steps. First, you want to apply pressure down, and after that twist upwards and release that pressure. Second, you want to apply pressure in the beginning while moving sideways and release that pressure by the end of the stroke. It's kind of hard to explain, and if you have a hard time controlling the pressure, the best thing I can recommend is to watch this process over and over again until you're finally able to do it. That's what worked for me, because in the beginning, your muscles have to get used to the movement as fast as possible. Now, I know this may be a bit frustrating to hear, but that's what you have to do in order to get these really smooth lines, which I struggle with as well. That being said, the K requires 3 steps. The first 2 strokes are pretty basic, but the third one again revolves around applying that initial pressure and releasing it by the end, so for those letters I can only say rinse and repeat. Now the next 3 letters are conveniently very similar and only require basic strokes, so I'm going to be doing them all in one go. Alright, so L, 1, 2, M, 1, 2, 3, 4, and N, 1, 2, 3. Moving on to the letter O, this is essentially one movement and starts exactly like the letter C. The only difference is that you have to close it, so C and then close it. This also may take a while to get used to, but I think after a little bit of practicing, it should be easy. The letter P we already know the strokes of, one basic stroke down, and then the mirrored letter C. Again, 1 and 2. Q is the same as the letter O combined with the third stroke of the letter K, so first of all close that C and then write down the third stroke of the letter K. 1 and 2. Oh, and if you're able to write the letter K, you can also write the letter R because the only difference between those two is the second stroke, which is replaced by a mirrored C. So 1, 2, and 3. But again, it might take a while to get used to the third stroke. The next letter is most likely the most difficult out of all of the letters, and yep, it's the letter S. One whole movement, and I can only recommend you watch it closely. It kind of looks like a snake, but yeah, this one also might take some time to perfect. Thankfully, the letter T is easy again. 2 basic strokes, 1, 2, 1, 2. And yeah, we're slowly approaching the end of the alphabet. Next one is the letter U. One movement, so watch closely. Starting with pressure down, then up while releasing that pressure, and down again with pressure applied. Rinse and repeat. The letter V, W, and X are very similar and only require basic strokes again, so I'm going to be doing them again in one go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. The letter Y is also one movement. You can technically do it in 3 steps, but it doesn't come out as clean if you interrupt the stroke. So, one movement. Pressure down, release pressure up, and down again. Now finally, the last one, letter Z. 3 basic strokes, 1, 2, and 3. Again, just 3 basic strokes, which concludes the entire alphabet. Alright, so now that we've written down all the letters, you should be able to write any word including alphabet from the very beginning of this video, as long as you practice. Speaking of which, I also made a worksheet for you guys, which is linked down below in the description alongside all the products I've used in this video. It's free and you can message me anytime if you have any questions or just want to say hi. You can either leave a comment or send me a DM on my Instagram and I make sure to reply as fast as I can. And that's it, all the uppercase letters in one place. Obviously there's so much more to it and there will be more in-depth videos coming. Just need some time, but for now this is it. I'll also link the lowercase video down below once it's out. And yeah, I hope this was useful and I will see you guys in my next video.